If I stay, 4:57 a.m., chapter 15. I can't stop thinking about waiting for the vengeance. It's been years since I've listened to or thought of that song, but after Gramps left my bedside, I have been singing it to myself over and over. Dad wrote the song ages ago, but now it feels like he wrote it yesterday, like he wrote it from wherever he is, like there's a secret message in it for me. He asked to explain those lyrics. I'm not choosing, but I am running out of light. What does it mean? Is it supposed to be some kind of instruction? Some clues about what my parents would choose for me if they could? I try to think about it from their perspectives. I know they would want to be filled with to be with me, for us all to be together again eventually. But I have no idea if that even happens after you die, and if it does, it will happen whether I go this morning or in 70 years. What would they want for me now? As soon as I pose the question, I can see Mom's pissed off expression. She would be livid with me for even contemplating anything but saying, but Dad, he understood what it meant to run out of fight. Maybe, like Gramps, he'll understand why I don't think I can stay. I'm singing the song as if buried within the lyrics and instructions, a musical roadmap to where I'm supposed to go, and now to get there, I'm singing and concentrating and singing and thinking so hard that I barely register Willow's return to the ICU, barely notice that she's talking to the grumpy nurse, barely recognize the steely determination in her tone. Had I been paying attention, I might have realized that Willow was lobbying for Adam to be able to visit me. Had I been paying attention, I might have somehow got away before Willow was, as always, successful. I don't want to see him now. I mean, of course I do. I ache to. But I know that if I see him, I'm going to lose the last whip of peacefulness that Gramps gave me when he told me that it was okay to go. I'm trying to summon the courage to do what I have to do, and Adam will complicate things. I tried to stand up to get away, but something had happened to me since I went back into surgery. I no longer have the strength to move. It takes all my effort to sit upright in my chair. I can't run away, or all I can do is hide. I curl my knees into my chest and close my eyes. I hear Nurse Ramirez talking to Willow. I will take him over, she says, and for once the grumpy nurse doesn't order her back to her own patients. That was pretty boneheaded move you pulled earlier, I hear her tell Adam. I know, Adam answers, his voice is throaty whisper, the way it gets after a particularly screamy concert. I was desperate. No, you were romantic, she tells him. I was idiotic. They said she was doing better before, that she'd come off the ventilator, that she was getting stronger, but after I came in here, that she got worse. They said her heart stopped on the operating table. Adam trills off, and they got it started. She had a perforated ball that was slowly leaking bile into her abdomen, and it threw her organs out of whack. This kind of things happen all the time, and it had nothing to do with you. He got it, fixed it, and that's what matters. But she was doing better, Adam whispered. He sounds so young and vulnerable, like Teddy used to sound when he got the stomach flu. And then I came in, and she almost died. His voice chokes into sob. The sound of it wakes me up like a bucket of ice water dropped down my shirt. Adam thinks that he did this to me. No, that's beyond absurd. He's so wrong. And I almost stayed in Puerto Rico to marry Fedesivi, the nurse snaps, but I didn't. And I have a different life now. Almost don't matter. You got to deal with the situation at hand. She's still here. She whips the privacy curtain around my bed. In you go, she tells Adam. I force my head up and my eyes open. Adam, God, even in this state, he's beautiful. His eyes are dripping with fatigue. He's trouble enough of it as if we were to make out. It would make my chin draw. He's wearing his typical band uniform of a t-shirt, skinny pants, and Converse with Graham's plate scarf draped over his shoulders. When he first sees me, he blanches like I'm some hideous creature on the Black Lagoon. I do look pretty bad. Hooked back up to the ventilator and does have other tubes, the dressing from my later surgery seeping blood. But after a moment, Adam exhales loudly, and then he's just Adam again. He searches around. He's just like he has dropped something, and then finds what is he looking for. My hand. Jesus, Mia, your hands are freezing. He squirts down. Take my right hand into his, and careful not to bump into my tubes and wires, draws his mouth to them, blowing warm air into shelters he's created. You and your crazy hands. Adam is always amazed at how, even in the middle of Sivan, even if the sweatiest of encounters, my hands stay cold. I tell him it's bad circulation, but he doesn't buy it because my feet are usually warm. He says I have bionic hands, and that is why I'm such a good cello player. I watch him warm my hands as he has done 1,000 times before. I think the first time he did it at school, sitting on the lawn, as if we were the most natural things in the world. I also remember the first time he did it in front of my parents. We were all sitting on a porch on Christmas Eve drinking cider. It was freezing outside. Adam grabbed my hands and blew on them. Teddy giggled. Mom, Dad didn't say anything, just exchanged a quick look. Something private that passed between them, and their mom smiled ruefully at us. I wondered if I tried, I could feel him touching me. If I were to lie down on top of myself in the bed, would I become one within my body again? Would I feel him then? If I reached out my ghostly hand to his, would he feel me? Would he warm hands he cannot see? Adam drops my hand and steps forward to look at me. He's standing so close that I can almost smell him, and I'm overpowered by the need to touch him. It's basic, primal, and all-consuming. The baby needs the mother's breast. Even though I know if we touch a new tug of war, one that will be even more painful than the quiet one Adam and I have been waging these past few months will begin. Adam is mumbling something new. In a low voice, over and over, he's saying, please, please, please. Please, please, please. Finally, he stops and look at my face. Please, Mia, he implores, don't make me write a song. I'd never expected to fall in love. I was never the kind of girl who had crushes on rock stars or fantasies about marrying Brad Pitt. I sort of vaguely knew that one day I would probably have boyfriends in college if Kim's predictions was anything to go by, and get married. I wasn't totally immune to charms of the opposite sex, but I wasn't one of those romantic SUNY girls who had pink fluffy daydreams about falling in love. Even as I was falling in love, full throttle intense, can't erase the goofy smile love, I didn't really register what was happening. When I was with Adam, at least after those few awkward weeks, I felt good that I didn't bother thinking about what was going on with us. Just felt normal and right, like slipping into hot bubble bath. Which isn't to say we didn't fight. We argued over lots of stuff. Him not being nice enough to Kim, me being antisocial at shows, how fast he drove, how I stole the covers. I got upset because he never wrote any songs about me. He claimed he wasn't good with sappy love songs. If you want a song, you will have to cheat on me or something, he said, knowing full well that wasn't going to happen. This past fall, though, Adam and I started to have different kinds of fight. It wasn't even a fight, really. We didn't shout. We barely even argued, but a snake of tension quietly slithered into our lives. And it seemed like it all started with my Juliet audition. So did you knock them dead? Adam asked me when I go back. They gonna let you in with a full scholarship. I had a feeling that they were going to let me in at least, even before I told Professor Christie about that one judge's long time since. We had an Oregon County girl comment even before she hyperventilated because she was so convinced that it was a tactic promise of admission. Something had happened to my playing in that audition. I had broken through some invisible barrier and could finally play the pieces like I heard them being played in my hand, and the result had been something transcendent. The mental and physical, the technical and emotional sides of my abilities all finally blending. Then, on the drive home, as Grams and I were approaching the California Oregon border, I just had this sudden flash, a vision of me lugging a cellar through New York City, and it was like I knew, and that certainly planted itself in my belly like a swarm secret. I'm not the kind of person who is prone to premonitions or overconfidence, so I suspected that they were more to my flesh than magical thinking. I did okay, I told Adam as I said it. I realized I would just straight out lying to him for the first time, and that this was different from all lying omission I would rather doing before. I'd been doing before. I had neglected to tell Adam that I was applying to Juilliard in the first place, which was actually harder than it sounded. Before I sent in my application, I had to practice every spare moment with Professor Christie to fine-tune the Asterix concerto and the two bad suits. When Adam asked me why I was so busy, I gave purposefully vague excuses about learning tough new pieces. I justified this to myself because it was technically true, and then Professor Christie arranged for me to have a recording session at the university so I could submit a high quality CD to Juliet. I had to be at the studio at 7 in the morning on Sunday, and the night before I pretended to be feeling out of sorts and told Adam he probably shouldn't stay over. I justified that fib too. I was feeling out of sorts because I was so nervous, so it wasn't a real like, and besides, I thought there was no point in making a big fuss about it. I hadn't told Kim either, so it wasn't like Adam was getting special deception treatment. After I told him I had only done okay at the audition, I had the feeling that I was wading into quicksand and that if I took one more step, there would be no extricating myself and I would sink into I suffocated. So I took a deep breath and heaved myself back onto solid ground. Actually, that's not true, I told Adam. I did really well. I played better than I have ever have in my life. It was like I was possessed. Adam's first reaction was to smile with pride. I wish I could have seen that. But then his eyes clouded over and his lips fell into a frown. Why had you downplayed? Why would you downplay it? He asked. Why didn't you call me after the audition to brag? I don't know, I said. Well, this is great news, Adam said, trying to mask his hurt. We should be celebrating. Okay, let's celebrate, I said with a force. Katie, we can go to Portland Saturday, go to Japanese gardens and go out for dinner at Butai. Adam grimaced. I can't. We are playing in Olympia and Seattle this weekend. Nature, remember? I would love for you to come, but I don't know if that's really a celebration for you. But I will be back Sunday late afternoon. I can meet you in Portland Sunday night if you want. I can't. I'm playing a string skin quartet at some professor's house. What about next weekend? Adam looked pained. We are in studio the next couple of weekends, but we can go out during the week somewhere around here to the Mexican place. Sure, the Mexican place, I said. 2 minutes before, I hadn't even wanted to celebrate. Now I was feeling dejected and insulted at being relegated to a midweek dinner at the same place we always went to. When Adam graduated from high school last spring and moved out of his parents' place and into House of Rock, I hadn't expected much to change. Still lived nearby. We would still see each other all the time. I would miss our little hovos in the music wing, and I would also be relieved to have our relationship out from under the microscope of high school. But things had changed when Adam moved into House of Rock and started college, though not for the reason thought they would. At the beginning of the fall, just as Adam was getting used to college life, things suddenly started heating up with Shooting Star. The band was offered a record deal with a medium-sized label based in Seattle, and now were busy in the studio recording. They were also playing more shows to larger and larger crowds almost every weekend. Things were so hectic that Adam had dropped half his course load and was going to college part-time. If things kept us at this rate, he was thinking of dropping out altogether. There are no second chances, he told me. I was genuinely excited for him. I knew that Shooting Star was something special, more than just a college town band. I hadn't minded Adam's increasing absences, especially since he made it so clear how much he minded them. But somehow the prospect of Juliet made things different. Somehow it made me mine, which didn't make any sense at all because, if anything, it should have leveled the field. Now I had something exciting happening too. We can go to Portland in a few weeks, Adam promised, when all the holiday lights are up. Okay, I said suddenly. Adam sighed. Things are getting complicated, aren't they? Yeah, our schedules are too busy, I said. That's not what I meant, Adam said, turning my face towards his. So I was looking at him, and I said, I know that's not what you meant, I replied. But then a lump lodged itself in my throat and I couldn't talk anymore. We tried to diffuse the tension, to talk about it without really talking about it, to jokify it. You know, I read in US News and World Report that Willamette University had a good music program, Adam told me. It's in Salem, which is apparently getting hipper by the moment. According to who? The governor? I replied. Liz found some good stuff in vintage clothing store here. And you know, once the vintage places come in, the hipsters aren't far behind. You forget I'm not a hipster, I reminded him. But speaking of maybe Shooting Star should move to New York, I mean, it's heart of punk scene, the Remus Blondie. My tone was frothy and flirtations and Oscar-worthy performance. That was 30 years ago, Adam said. And even if I wanted to move to New York, there's no way the rest of the band would. He started mournfully at his shoes and recognized the joking part of the conversation has ended. My stomach lurched, an appetizer before the full portion of heartache. Feel I had a feeling was going to be served at some point soon. Adam and I had never been the kind of couple to talk about the future, about where our relationship was going. But with things suddenly so unclear, we avoided talking about anything what that was happening. More than a few weeks away, that this made our conversation as stilted and awkward as they had been in those early weeks altogether before we had formed our group. One afternoon in the fall, I spotted a beautiful 1930s silk gown in the vintage store where Dad bought his suits, and I almost pointed it out to Adam and asked if he thought I should wear that to the prom. But prom was in June, and maybe Adam would be on our tour would be on tour in June, or maybe I had to be too busy getting ready for Juliet, or didn't say anything. Not long after that, Adam was complaining about this discreet guitar, saying he wanted to get a vintage Gibson SC, and I offered to get it offered for his birthday. But then he said that those guitars cost thousands of dollars, and besides, his birthday wasn't until September. And the way he said September, it was like a judge issuing a prison sentence. A few weeks ago, we went to New Year's Eve party together. Adam got drunk, and when midnight came, he kissed me hard. Promise me, you will spend New Year's with me next year, he whispered into my ear. I was about to explain that even if I did go to Juliet, I would be home for Christmas and New Year's. But then I realized that wasn't the point, so I promised him I wanted to be true as much as he did. And I kissed him back so hard that I was trying to merge our bodies. On New Year's Day, I came home to find the rest of my family gathered in the kitchen with Henry, Willow, and the baby. Dad was making breakfast, smoked salmon hash, his specialty. Henry shook his head when he saw me. Look at the kids today. Seems like just yesterday that stumbling home at 8 o'clock felt early. Now, killed just to be able to sleep until 8. We didn't even make it till midnight, Willow admitted, pouncing the baby on her lap. Good thing, because this little lady decided to start a new year at 5:30. I stayed up till midnight. Teddy yelled. I saw the ball drop on TV at toilets in New York. If you move it there, will you take me to see it drop in real life? He asked. Sure, Teddy, I said, feigning enthusiasm. The idea of me going to New York was seeming more and more real, and though this generally fills me with nervous, conflicted excitement, the image of me, Teddy hanging out together on New Year's Eve left me feeling unbearably lonely. Mom looked at me, eyebrows arched. It's New Year Day, so I won't give you shit for coming in at this hour. But if you're hungover, you're grounded. I'm not. I had one beer. I'm just tired. Just tired, is it? You're sure? Mom grabbed a hold of my wrist and turned me towards her. When she saw my stricken expression, she tilted her head to the side of it. You okay? I shrugged and bit my lip, keep from losing it. Mom nodded. She handed me a cup of coffee and led me to the table. She put down a plate of fashion thick slice of sourdough bread, and even though I couldn't imagine being hungry, my mouth was water, stomach rumbled, and I suddenly ravenous. I ate silently, Mom watching me all the while. After everyone was done, Mom sent the rest of them into the living room to watch the rose parade on TV. Everyone out, she ordered. Me and I will do the washing. As soon as everyone was gone, Mom turned to me and just fell against her, crying and releasing all the tension and uncertainty of the last few weeks. She stood there silently, letting me blubber all over her sweater. When I stopped, she held out the sponge. You wash, I will dry. We will talk. I always find it calming. The warm water, the soap. Mom picked up the dish towel and we went to work. And I told her about Adam and me. It was like we had this perfect year and a half. I said, so perfect that I never even thought about the future, about it taking us in different directions. Mom's smile was both sad and knowing. I thought about it. I turned to her. She was staring straight out the window, watching a couple of sparrows bathe in puddle. I remember last year when Adam came over the Christmas Eve. I told your father that you had fallen in love too soon. I know. What does a dumb kid know about love? Mom, stop trying a skillet. That's not what I meant. The opposite really. You and Adam never struck me as a high school relationship. Mom said, making quote marks with her hands. It was nothing like a drunken roll in the back of some guy's Chevy. That passed for a relationship then I was in high school. You guys seem seem in love truly deeply, she sighed. But 17 is an inconvenient time to be in love. That made me smile and made my stomach soften a little. Tell me about it, I said, though if we were both musicians, we could go to college together and be fine. That's a cop out, Mia, Mom countered. All relationships are tough. Just like music, sometimes you have harmony and other times you have cacophony. I don't have to tell you that. I guess you are right. And come on, music brought you two together. That's what your father and I always thought. You were both in love with music and then you fell in love with each other. It was little like that for your dad and me. I didn't play, but I listened. Luckily, I was a little older when we met. I had never told Mom about Adam, he said, night after the Yo-Yo concert. Yo-Yo Ma concert that I had asked him why me, how the music was totally a part of it. Yeah, but now I feel like it's music that's going to pull us apart. Mom shook her head. That's not okay. Music can do that. Life might take you down different roads, but each of you get to decide which one to take. She turned to face me. Adam's not trying to stop you going to Juliet, is he? No more than I'm trying to get him to move to New York. And it's all ridiculous anyway. I might not even go. No, you might not, but you are going somewhere. I think we all get that, and the same is true for Adam. At least he can go somewhere while still living here, Mom shrugged. Maybe, for now, anyhow. I put my face in my hands and shook my head. What am I going to do? I lamented. I feel like I am caught in a tug of war. Mom shot me a sympathetic grimace. I don't know, but I do know that if you want to stay and be with him, I would support that. Though maybe I'm only saying that because I don't think you would be able to turn down Juliet. But I'd understand if you chose love, Adam love, over music love, either way or you win, and either way you lose. What can I tell? Love is. Adam and I talked about it once more after that. We were at House of Rock, sitting on his futon, and was riffling about on his acoustic guitar. I might not get in, I told him. I might wind up at school here with you. In a way, I hope I don't get accepted, so I don't have to choose. If you get in, the choice is already made, isn't it? Adam asked. It was. I would go. It didn't mean I stopped loving Adam or we'd break up, but Mom and Adam were both right. I wouldn't turn Juliet. Adam was silent for a minute, plinking away at his guitar so loud that I almost missed it when he said, I don't want to be guy who doesn't want you to go. If the tables were turned, let me go. I kind of already have in a way. You're already gone to your own Juliet, I said. I know, Adam said quietly, but I'm still here and I'm still crazy in love with you. Me too, I said. And then we got stopped talking for a while as Adam strummed an unfamiliar melody. I asked him what he was playing. I'm calling it The Girlfriend's Going to Juliet, Leaving My Punk Heart in Shed Blues, he said, singing a little in exaggeratedly twangy voice. But then he smiled, that goofy, shy smile that I felt like came from a truest part of him. I'm kidding. Good, I said. Sort of, he added.